to any seat or on your back, anything that will support you in finding some stillness and settling in. So just taking a moment to get comfortable, and any supports, that any blankets, pillows that can prop you up. If you have any little movements you need to kind of get out as you let your energy settle in. Begin tapping into the breath. Maybe moving the jaw, any of those kind of regular suspects of tension holding. We'll take a really big breath in, filling the lungs, find the very top of our breath, and slowly letting it out of the mouth. Taking another one of those, breathing in and exhaling. I've been reading some Mary Oliver and wanted to share one of her poems this morning that has been hitting this particular season pretty well. So it's called Lines Written in the Days of Growing Darkness. And every year we have been witness to it, how the world descends into a rich mash in order that it may resume. And therefore, who would cry out to the petals on the ground to stay, knowing as we must how the vivacity of what was is married to the vitality of what will be? I don't say it's easy, but what else will do if the loved one claims to have for the world be true? So let us go on cheerfully enough this and every crisping day, though the sun be swinging east and the ponds be cold and black, and the sweets of the year be doomed. So take a few more breaths as we settle into this practice. And finding any intention or any thought or thread that you'd like to carry through your practice today, something that's bringing you here. We'll all meet in a seat. If you're on your backs, I invite you to come to a seat, taking your time. We're gonna come into some cat and cow movement of our spine, just in our seat. And grab the knees, really pull the chest forward, letting the chest shine up towards your ceiling. And then pulling the spine back, curving the spine. Your gaze can go towards your belly button. Inhaling, pulling the chest through. We'll move between this extension and flexion of our spine. Yeah, you can linger in any spots that feel like they particularly need it right now. Making our way back to a neutral spine. And letting one ear drop to one side, letting everything be heavy, the shoulder be heavy. Breathing into the spaciousness between our shoulder and the crown of our head. And then dropping the gaze down, breathing into the back body. Making your way to the other side, whichever side you didn't start with. And then letting this evolve into some head rolls, either maybe moving in semicircles from side to side or making full circles. And again, moving slowly, paying attention to your body. And this can grow, incorporating some of that spinal movement, It might incorporate your upper back, just letting this be a really luxurious neck and upper body roll. And paying attention, seeing what is needed without much concern of making perfect circles or looking any certain way, and just really feeling into yourself right now. And coming back to our neutral spine, we'll extend our arms long, wide outside of us. And then crossing, we'll do crossing right arm underneath the left, and eagling the arms. So the backs of our hands will come to each other, or the palms might come together. Your inhale, we'll lift our elbows up and letting the gaze tilt up. And then pulling the elbows down and letting the gaze follow. Doing that one more time, lifting the elbows up, gaze follows. And pulling the elbows down. And then releasing the arms. Hands can come up behind us, and we'll bring our feet in front of us. And taking a reverse tabletop, lifting the hips up. This can be gentle, maybe not quite full, or if you're feeling like letting the head drop back, go for that. You might shift your weight between feet and hands, making some circles. And then letting the seat come to the ground. And if your legs were crossed before, you might try crossing another way, so whichever foot wasn't in front. We'll extend our arms wide again. And then crossing, this time left arm under right. And same movement, lifting the elbows up, gaze follows. And then pulling the elbows down. Again, really getting all into our back and shoulders. So do that one more time, lifting up. And pulling down. And release the hands. Bringing feet again in front of us. Feet on the ground, and just dipping. Our legs are kind of windshield wipering from side to side. We'll make our way into a child's pose on our knees, and you can start music if you haven't already. If you'd like that playlist to accompany your practice. And so make your way into child's pose, taking a few breaths into the ground. Feeling our weightedness, the ground rising up to hold us. Coming into our tabletop pose, finding yourself on hands and knees. With your inhale, we'll drop the belly, lifting our chest, coming into our full cow pose. And then curving the spine, gaze going in between our knees, cow. Again, dropping the belly, lifting the chest. And curving the spine. Moving this with your own breath. And welcoming in any other intuitive movement here, any other circles of the spine. Moving in any of those familiar pathways. Or see if there is something new today. Come to our neutral spine, reaching our right hand up high, and then threading the needle. That right hand goes through that space between our left knee and hand. And we can bring our shoulder and cheek towards the ground. You can keep this left hand here, or it can clasp hands or wrap around. Breathing here into this twist. We'll unwind, planting that left hand into the ground, right hand reaches up. Bringing the right hand back to the mat, tabletop. And here we're just gonna lift our right hand, our left knee, just like an inch off the ground. So just above, as if we're on like uneven ground. We're outside, the ground's not even. And then we're gonna step this right hand and left foot just a step forward, kind of like one crawl. And then extending this left hand forward, right leg back, either toes on the ground or lift it up. Nice. Hold this here, breathing, finding your stability. And on your next exhale, you can pull knee to elbow, curving the spine. Then extending long. And then curving in, knee to elbow. Extend. One more. Extend. Hand can come down, and then we're gonna step this right foot forward, coming into a low lunge. And here, you can invite some rocking back and forth. If you have any things to support you, if you need blocks or anything, or books. So moving from side to side or forward and back a little bit as we ease our way in here. We can come to bringing our hands on our knee, just bringing the chest up. And then clasping the hands, reaching them above our head. We're really pressing that back shin into the ground, stabilizing us. Releasing our hands to the outside of that right foot and shifting back into a runner's stretch. So stretching this front leg, might have to press that heel forward a little bit. And here, pointing and flexing the foot. And letting that upper body melt over, heavy. We'll bring this right foot, we're gonna step on it, but bring it a little bit closer to us so we come into more of a kneeling posture. If you need, grabbing any blankets if you need any support underneath your knees. Bring our hands to the back of our head and opening the chest here, letting the elbows hang back. And then pulling the elbows in, we'll curve this upper spine and just easing forward, curving the spine down. Moving through both of those again, opening, blossoming, the elbows open. Letting the head fall back a bit. And then pulling elbows in, curving down, tucking a bit. And releasing the hands to the ground, we'll push back to tabletop, maybe taking a moment in child's pose. Meeting back in our tabletop. We'll reach our left hand up high and then threading the needle to the other side. That left cheek comes to the ground, clasping hands or letting it wrap around you. Breathing. Unwinding, playing that right hand into the ground, opening up. And releases into tabletop. Find your way down to all fours. And then just lifting our left hand, right knee up. Again, just an inch, uneven ground, hovering. And then stepping this through one crawl. And our right hand shoots forward, left leg back. Again, toes on the ground if you need for some stability or lifting it up. And on your exhale, pulling knee to elbow, curving the spine. Inhale, extend. Doing this 2 more times with your breath. And then letting that hand come down. This foot will come through, low lunge. Here, inviting some movement back and forward, side to side. Feeling our way in. And bringing hands to knees, finding our uprightness, clasping the hands and fingertips pointing out towards the ceiling. Nice. Letting the hands come down to the ground, shifting our hips back, runner's stretch, stretching that heel through and forward, pointing and flexing the foot, noticing, sensing any changes. Letting that upper body melt over, heavy. Bringing that front foot, the left foot in a little bit, coming into this kneeling posture. Hands find the back of our head. Opening the chest, opening the elbows back. And then pulling the elbows in towards your ears, curving this upper back down. And moving through this expansion and contraction. And releasing your hands to the ground, shifting back, tabletop. We'll tuck the toes and come into down dog. You can bend and stretch, pedal through the feet a bit. And pressing the full palms into the ground. We'll shift into plank pose. Hold this here for 3 breaths. Staying here, or option to lower the knees in your plank, modified plank. Yeah, feel some lengthening through heels, through our crown. Now that third exhale, lowering low plank or knees, chest, and chin. And coming into cobra, palms pressed into the ground, rolling shoulders back and down, lifting the chest, gaze just ahead of us, keeping that long line of the spine. And shifting back, child's pose. I'm gonna go through a similar flow, adding some additional things to it. So coming into our tabletop here, right hand reaches up, and again, another threading the needle through. Right cheek comes towards the ground. And then you might just stay right here. If you'd like, you can extend this left leg long behind you. You can also come to the side and grabbing, you can option to grab that foot here. So a couple options here. We're just staying kind of with that more familiar thread the needle. Wherever you're at, finding some stillness. Wherever you're at, we'll unwind out of this. That right hand coming up, back to tabletop on all fours. Right hand, left knee just an inch above the ground, hovering. Stepping through one crawl, extending left hand forward, right leg back. Awesome. Staying here, holding us here, or reaching back with the top of that foot and pressing foot into hands. Yeah, or just staying extended. And all of us just extending forward, holding it here. And then hand comes down, this foot comes, the right foot comes to the outside of our right hand. Lizard pose. We'll tuck this back toe, lifting the back leg to an active lizard. And here, thinking about really extending the spine long. It's almost like a little lift in the chest, long line from that heel through our crown. We'll bring this left hand a little bit underneath us, coming into a twist. So our right hand can lift up, twisting towards that right knee. One hand comes down, we'll lower that back knee down. Coming back through our tabletop, our right leg will shoot behind us, keeping the toes on the ground, crossing our right toes over towards the left. So taking a big kind of C curve with our spine, looking over for a tail of that foot. Yes, that right foot is behind us. And here we're going to tuck this right foot behind this. We're going to squeeze it in here. That knee can come to the ground. So just kind of squeezing those legs together. We can shift our weight back and forth here. As I'm doing it, it almost feels like something you do when we're like, I have to go to the bathroom or something. Kind of getting into the nooks and crannies of our hips. And then we'll release out of that. We can just come to our normal tabletop. Tucking our toes, down dog. Taking a big breath here. And then shifting through into our plank pose. Dropping the knees or lowering to low plank. Bringing the chest down. Coming into your cobra or up dog. Leaning back and down dog. And then lowering our knees, coming back into tabletop. Lifting this left arm long and threading the needle through. Left cheek coming to the ground and taking your version here of this twist, staying here or extending that right leg long behind or out to the side, maybe grabbing it. And then unwinding, coming back to tabletop, lifting left hand up, right knee up, just an inch, hovering, and then stepping through one crawl forward, right hand shoots out, left toes behind us. Again, staying here, finding this balance, option to reach back to the top of that foot, pressing the foot into hands. And extending long, letting that hand come down, left knee comes to the outside, our left foot comes to the outside of our left hand, lizard pose. Tucking our back toes, lifting that knee, and then extending the spine long here. And totally if you need blocks or something to build up, that can be helpful. Feeling our length. Right hand comes down underneath our knees and we twist towards the left. Left hand comes down, we'll drop that back knee. Right leg shoots behind us and then crosses over towards the right, looking over our right shoulder. And making a big C or banana shape from the crown through our heel. And then tucking this left knee behind our right knee and squeezing them together. And we can just shift back and forth. And you can release out of that, finding your regular tabletop. Tucking the toes. And here, options to just hang out here, your down dog, or shift through your flow. Shifting through to plank, low plank or cobra. All super valid options. It's all about what you need right now. Moving down dog. Here in down dog, we'll reach that right leg up towards the sky, opening the hip. Letting it hang, inviting some circles here. And then turning the hips in, pulling that knee forward towards your nose and stepping it through. Coming into a high lunge, arms reach up. So your feet can be on different train tracks, finding your stability. Inviting some ease where we can. We're going to bring our left hand to the ground and twisting towards the right foot again. And this time here, this twist, we can kind of let this keep moving a little bit. So it's a good angle. And we can come to the outside of that left foot, kind of coming into this more of like a modified side plank with your right foot in front of you. Yeah. You could stay here. You could step this foot back to a side plank. Wherever you're at, just grounding into your strength. We'll all come back to this lunge, bringing our right hand down. And then walking our hands towards the back foot, coming into a wide forward fold. Facing that wide side of your mat, maybe. We can walk our hands towards the back foot, towards that left foot. If you need to have a bend in your knees, letting yourself have that, trying to crease as much of the hips. Walking our hands back towards the top of our mat, low lunge, or this high lunge again. Walking our hands forward a bit, we'll step that back foot in and lift our leg up towards the sky. So this sort of standing split. So left heel lifting up towards the sky. Here, similar to when we're on our knees, we're going to tuck this floating leg behind our standing leg. So left behind our right, squeezing them in, kind of bending, and then stretching up. We'll do that a couple times. So squeezing the legs in, and then pressing the heel up towards the sky. And releasing that leg to the ground, forward fold, standing forward fold. You can grab opposite elbows, nodding the head, yes or no. We can bring our hands to the back of our head, adding a little bit of weight to our head, and we're going to roll up to standing, with our head being the very last thing. So one vertebrae at a time, keeping a little bend in your knees, rolling all the way up to standing, moving slowly. Once you arrive to standing, you can interlace the hands and rest them on your chest. We'll take 3 to 5 breaths here. Releasing our hands to our sides. We'll inhale, taking a big lift and stretch up. And then forward fold. Planting our hands on the ground, stepping back to your down dog. And again, staying here, moving through your flow, whatever that looks like for you today. Meeting in our down dog. We'll reach that left leg up towards the sky, opening the hip, and inviting your hip circles, knee circles. And pulling knee through and forward, coming into our high lunge. Finding your stable position with your feet, reaching the arms up. We invite ease into our upper body here. Right hand will come towards the ground as we twist towards the left. And then here, and you can stay right here, or if you want to kind of switch this twist up, we can roll to the outside of that right foot. This left foot can be a little bit more in front of us. A little more of a modified side plank. And if you'd like, this left foot can float into a side plank. Wherever you're at, just finding a point of focus, finding your balance. We'll all come back to this high lunge, hand comes to the ground, and walking our hands towards the back foot to a wide forward fold. Upper body heavy. We can walk our hands towards the back foot, towards that right foot. Big breaths into the stretch. Walking our hands back towards the top of our mat, high lunge, and walk our hands a bit forward, stepping the back foot in and lifting into that standing split. Right heel lifting up towards the ceiling. And pulling that knee behind your standing knee, squeezing them in, and then stretching them up. Moving through that a couple times with your breath. And releasing to a forward fold. And again, we'll roll up to standing, your choice. If you want to use your hands at the back of your head or just letting everything float, hands heavy. Rolling all the way up to standing. Taking a few breaths here. If you want to rest a hand on your chest or belly. To chair pose, taking our hips down, reaching our arms up alongside our ears. Feeling our weight in the back of our heels, feet just about hip distance apart. And shifting into eagle pose, we begin shifting our weight into the left foot. This right foot gets a little bit lighter. Might come off the ground and lift up and over. Crossing the legs. Option if you can swing those toes around or keeping that toe on the ground as a kickstand. Right hand coming underneath the left. Yeah. So right knee on top, left, right arm underneath. And squeezing everything together. We can also make a choice here, either pulling the elbows down towards our chest or lifting the elbows up. You might try both, see what's working for you. And we'll slowly unwind out of this. Ooh, taking the arms up, we can clasp the hands. Take a little back bend. And hands come along our sides, mountain pose, just equal standing pose. Taking a moment here. Before shifting into eagle on the other side. So we come to chair. Weight shifting into the right foot, left foot gets light and reaches up and over. Option to keep those toes on the ground as a kickstand. Left arm coming underneath the right, squeezing everything together. Again, making a choice with your arms. Just returning to it if you fall out of it. And then we'll release out of this one. And we can reach the arms up, taking a little back bend. And then folding forward. Standing forward fold. Keep a halfway lift, extending the spine long. And exhale, pressing the hands to the ground, stepping back to your down dog. We can stay here, find a child's pose, go through your flow. Yeah, finding rest if you need. We'll come into our down dog. And reaching that right leg up high, letting it hang, keeping it here. If you like to flip your dog, you can do that. Finding a little back bend. And then pulling that knee in, stepping it to the outside of that right hand, dropping the knee. We're gonna come into just a bit more of a full pigeon, or sorry, not pigeon, lizard. So finding a sustainable lizard for yourself here. If you need to place anything underneath the knee, you can bring your forearms to the ground if you'd like. Working this right foot a little bit out to the side, or coming to like a pillow. We're gonna hang here for a little bit, just getting a little deeper stretch. Begin easing out of this. Bringing the right foot back underneath us. Tucking that back toe up. Again, walking our hands to the outside, coming into this wide forward fold again. And here you can just walk your hands through or grabbing your feet. Really your choice for this forward fold. We're finding a shoulder rinse. If you're feeling like an inversion, you can go for a headstand. You've shifted, we'll lean this forward, right forward, hold the same here. Lifting our upper body up, we'll point our toes out. And bending both knees here, just taking a big straddle, stretch, elbows can push into the hands. Stay here if you'd like to shift this into like a one-legged sort of squat. You can stretch the right leg long. Shifting back through this wide straddle. We'll walk our hands back towards the top of our mat. Pushing into our down dog, that back leg, stepping to the back of our mat. Down dog, hanging out here or going through a flow. Chaturanga. Meeting in our down dog. We'll lift that left leg up high, opening the hips, hanging here or flipping your dog. Really pressing through that left hand if you're just hanging out here. And all of us coming through this three-legged dog, pulling the knee through. Set is the outside of that left hand, lizard pose. So coming into your lizard on this side. Using any supports or cushions, this left foot can come a little to the outside. Settling in for 10 to 15 breaths. Slowly coming out of this, bringing that left foot back underneath us, lifting our back toes, and walking our hands to this wide forward fold again towards the back foot. Your choice here, pulling the hands through to your ankles. And coming into more of our skeleton, and lift your chest up, bring heels in, and pressing into the knees, into the inner thighs. And then if you'd like to make this a one-legged lunge, you can extend that left leg long towards the front of your mat. Coming back to our we'll lunge, stepping back to your down dog. If you want one last flow, go for it. If you're done, you can drop the knees, come to child's pose. We'll all meet child's pose. And coming into a seat, so you can swing your legs around or cross your legs. We'll bring our feet onto the mat. Hands behind us. We're going to lift the hips up, coming into this reverse tabletop again. We drop the head back. Here we're going to lift that right knee and right foot up towards the sky, really pressing in to that left foot. Right foot comes to our left knee, crossing and letting our hips come down. So coming into this figure four pose. Here you might rock a little bit back and forth. We can actually let this come to our back. So you come onto your forearms, eventually to your back, and then squeezing the legs in, either reaching, you can reach through for your knee or your thigh, or your shin or your thigh. Staying here, if you'd like to twist this figure four, you can let this leg structure fall towards the left. So the left leg will come towards the ground. You could use your left hand to support either grabbing that ankle or the top of the leg. Breathing, letting our exhale softening into the ground. And bringing the structure back above you and crossing this top leg, this right leg even more. So you're stacking knees. Here, you can either grab that top knee and just pull this towards you or grab opposite ankles. Sort of a upside down cow pose, garudasana. Unwinding these legs, you might shake them out a little bit towards the ceiling. Bring these into our chest and just inviting some rocking. Eventually, you'll be pausing your boat pose. And coming back to our seat, feet on the ground. Hands behind us. And setting up for the other side, lifting up, reverse tabletop. Left leg shoots up towards the ceiling, pressing into that right foot. Crossing ankle to knee. And coming into this figure four. You can take a little rocking back and forth here in this uprightedness. Eventually making our way onto our backs. Now lowering yourself, forearms onto your back. And threading your hands through, grabbing the back of that thigh or your shin. Staying here or twisting this figure four, letting this leg structure fall towards the right. Really not forcing anything. Here we can take the path of least effort, letting gravity really just carry us to the ground. bringing our legs back on top of us, crossing those knees a bit more so our knees are stacked. Either grabbing that top knee or opposite ankles. Upside down, garudasana. We can unwind, reach same feet, coming to a happy baby, so reaching the outside of your feet. You might bend and stretch the legs. And from here, inviting any other movement that is calling to you for closing your practice. Any twists, legs up the wall, any other stretches. Stretches or stillness. Paying attention to what we need right now. No rush as you meander your way into a final rest. Taking time to grab any extra layers or supports for yourself, socks. As you settle into the stillness, take a couple big breaths for yourself, maybe some big sighs out of the mouth. Our exhales, imagining the sediment that we tossed around during all of this movement, all of that sediment and energy falling to the bottom, to our mat, to the ground, the earth beneath the mat, your house, the space you're in. Giving ourselves this moment of peace. Begin deepening your breath. Feeling our whole body breathing. Every cell. Might bring some more awareness to the body with some movement. You can always stay right here if you'd like, your home. If you'd like to come to a seat, you can take your time coming to a side and gently rolling yourself up. Wherever you're at, you can make contact with yourself, letting your hands rest somewhere on your body, on your thighs, or on your chest. We'll close our practice with 3 breaths together, taking an inhale. You can offer a bow forward, offering gratitude to ourselves in this practice, in this community. Thank you. Thank you so much